assault and cruelty against a boy known to him, who was then aged 12 in the late 1980s. There are fears that Eastbourne's A&E department could be downgraded when some core services move to Hastings later this month. Health bosses voted last year to centralise emergency general surgery at the Conquest, but campaigners claim the District General Hospital will now effectively become a minor injuries unit. The NHS Trust that runs the hospital says only 5% of A&E services will actually be moved. Now, the county's first system to compost nappies has been set up in Kent. In the UK, about 8 million disposable nappies are thrown away each day and either end up being incinerated or sent to landfill. But now a system has been brought over from New Zealand to turn them into soil for land reclamation. Well, our environment correspondent Yvette Austin is at the site for us now near Rochester. And Yvette, tell us, how does it work?
Well, to start with, we've got an awful lot of nappies here from commercial contracts, leisure centres, nurseries and the like. And with me is Andy Band, who's from the company. So, Andy, what's happening here?
Well, what we're doing here is opening the bags to do a quick inspect to make sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be. We then take those up and through a first shred. We want to then shred that material again and feed that out through an outfeed auger to give us a nice, clean, open nappy pile that we can then use for composting.
And I can also see that you've got some green waste here. So what are you doing with that?
Yes, we do. We've got green waste here to give some more structure to the mix so that we can get more oxygen through it, and that helps us to accelerate the composting process.
And so it all goes into a big sealed drum that you've brought over from New Zealand, a very special sealed drum. So what goes on in there?
Basically, it mirrors the natural composting process. What we've got are the natural bacteria within the mix create temperature. The composting goes on for a period of about 2 weeks at about 60 degrees. And what we end up with at the end is a nice, rich, dark, compost-like output, which is completely sterile.
Yeah, all the bugs are cleaned by the heating up, and you've got something like what you're going to be creating down here.
Indeed we have. Basically, this is the kind of output we're looking at. Clearly, we'll remove the plastic from it because that's of no use to us. But we do leave in the gel from the nappies because that has some beneficial properties that we will use in the land restoration projects that we're looking to send this product to.
Thank you very much, Andy Band. And there are restrictions on what that compost can be used on, but ultimately they want to put 600,000 nappies a month through this machine, and there'll be more plants setting up across the UK.
Fascinating. All right, Yvette, thanks very much. A mother from Sussex is leaving for Afghanistan today to make a documentary to raise awareness of the difficulties of childbirth there. Filmmaker Janie Moffat says a traumatic experience giving birth to her own son in Sussex made her want to highlight the dangers faced by women in the war-torn country. Afghanistan is one of the most risky places in the world to give birth, with a death every 2 hours from childbirth complications. That equates to 3 deaths in every 1,000 births in the country. In the UK,